Hey everybody, Sarah at Nova Motorcycles again. We're going to start off this week with a little shameless shilling. Some of our merch we have, you can go to novamotorcycles.com. We have a store there to check it out. But we have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, we have beanies, and we have some tote bags. You can see that the black tote bag here was designed by a friend of ours, a very talented sign painter named Jess at Hired Hand Signs. She's doing some really cool signs all around the Northeast. But she made that logo for us, and it's been a big seller. So yeah, check out that stuff. And then also we have a ton of used vintage motorcycle parts kicking around this shop in the back that we are slowly getting around to organizing. We haven't launched our site with that yet, but if you need some stuff, hit us up. We may just have something you could use. So definitely don't be shy. Onto the motorcycle. Today we're going to do a little check-in on our Indian Enfield 1959 500 twin. We are getting so close to being done with this bike. As you can see, it's in less of a state of disassembly than it was last time, but there's still a couple of open things here that we're working on. Basically, the name of the game at this point is testing out the various little systems, making sure we have spark. You see this we're mounting the coil inside the air box here. There'll be a regular paper air filter element that goes in here. And we've replaced the old the old rectifier, which is this big old thing, with a much smaller solid state, tiny thing. And I just got to figure out a place to put that once everything is in there. It's going to be out of the way and hopefully not create any new holes. You've got the finalizing the primary here. This is actually a really cool clutch actuating mechanism. They call this a scissor. It needs to be adjusted, but you can see that it sort of works as just a scissor, this and this against each other. And when you squeeze that, it pushes a little ramp, it rides a ramp and pushes the unit in there and squeezes the clutch plates out. Kind of cool. Little notes you see to ourselves that we do is make sure that we don't forget something. If you walk away from something before it's done, just make a little note. Normally we do that on a piece of paper too, but every so often, mostly me that does that, with a little note on something that will come off later. This past week I've been putting up the transmission together. We had to get the distributor working properly. Not something you see on newer motorcycles very often, but an actual distributor like a car had. It's got one set of points in there, and even though it's only a 2-cylinder, there's a distributor that with a rotor and cap that puts the spark out to each cylinder alternately. Got that's all happens under here. There's a separate little chain that drives the distributor, and on this side is the cam chain. So the cams are up high here, and just like a modern car, there's a cam chain in there with a cam chain tensioner, which is a manual cam chain tensioner. You have to set by hand, and then once that's all timed, you put the cover on there, and then it seals up. Oil pump sits right here, so I've got that with a little bit of oil in there. I'm going to prime it fully before we actually try to start the motor. Oil tank is here. Now looks like it's part of the motor. I think we talked about this briefly before, but now the motor's back together. You can see this. The oil tank is not part of the engine. It's bolted to, or it's actually cast in with it, but it is functionally separate from it. So the oil sits here, and then just like a Harley or every other Brit bike dry sump motor, it gets pumped through the crank and then back to the oil tank separately. So the crank is not sitting above the oil, not sitting in the oil. It's a dry sump motor just sitting very close to the sump. What else are we doing? Just kind of going around in circles here. This is a stage of the game where there's little things we've forgotten or little things we realized we didn't get. The side stand was broken off when this came in, so I need to find a replacement for that. The battery will go in the battery box here, but there's a missing part to mount that, so we'll have to probably fabricate something up just to make sure that the battery can get strapped in there, and then which point the cover will go on, covering up there, so that'll be nice and tidy there. And other than that, it's really, I've still got the headlight off, making sure that everything's going to work in there before I button it up fully. Handlebars are just loosely put on for safety. As we finalize things, once the tank is fully mounted, we'll bolt that in place. It's really getting down to it. The only reason I haven't started this bike fully and finished it is because other things keep distracting me. We have a couple other long-term projects. It's easy in the background here, as well as the business of running a shop that keeps pulling me away a little bit. So pick at it. Hopefully by the end of the month, this will be running. maybe riding. Got to see what the weather's doing. We've gotten iced in here the past week or so, so nobody's doing any test rides at the moment. But fairly soon enough, this will be on the road and making some noise. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait to show the final video of this thing running and hopefully me riding off into the sunset on it. Yeah, chime in if you know anything about these things. Again, the Indian Enfield, kind of a cool period of history, kind of a sad period for Indian, but also still a wonderful machine. Definitely the end of the original Indian era, and a pretty cool piece of history. So let us know your thoughts, and please like and subscribe as usual. Thanks for watching.